friends, it's Laura with Laura's Handmade Haven. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. So this is my first video that is about all my crafty things since I changed my name, and it was delayed by a week just because, well, life happens sometimes. I also want to tell you right here and now that we're going to be changing what this little broadcast is called. So this is going to be the Handmade Haven's Happenings. So when you look for the video each month to learn about what I've been doing and what I'm going to be doing for the next month or so, for upcoming sew-alongs, upcoming stitches that I'm doing, all kinds of crafty stuff, that's what you're going to be looking for. So make sure you're looking for Handmade Haven's Happenings. All right, so we're gonna jump right in, and one of the reasons I want to change the name is because this is no longer just a floss tube, because I'm not gonna talk just about cross stitch. It's not gonna be just cross stitch and quilting. It's gonna be about all kinds of things, and what better way to do that than to launch with this one, which is gonna focus on some of my favorite things. So of course I do love cross stitch, and I'm going to share those progress and updates and finishes and all that kind of good stuff first and foremost. Then we're going to go into some quilting updates. I'm going to talk about some of the crafty things that I have coming up, some videos that I have coming up, and then I'm going to share with you some of my most favorite things. All right, so let's get started with cross stitch. I am going to be honest and tell you that I have not done very much cross stitch this past month. I'll be brutally honest and tell you it's because I've we were kind of sick, and I kind of got sucked into the whole Candy Crush era thing again. So I haven't done anything on my Houses of Pumpkin Lane. I am still just finished with House 5. I have not even started House 6. It's in there. It's gonna be, coming soon, but nothing has been done on it. If this is the first time you're seeing this stitch, let me give you a quick rundown. I am using DMC floss. I'm not using the called for DMC just because I didn't have some of those colors, so I just decided to pull from my stash and use what I have. I am using my own little divider system too. I'm just doing a pretty simple little gingham look between the houses. I'm not doing those bottom borders that each of the patterns show. So I have made quite a few changes to this. I'm stitching it on a 28 count Lugana cloth, and it's 2/2, so nothing too exciting there, but I do have to say how much, again, I love Lugana. It's probably my favorite stitch, my favorite cloth for cross stitch. So nothing new to see, but that's my Houses on Pumpkin Lane update. Next up is the Colorado Cross Stitchers Snowman collector, and I really haven't made that much progress on it as well. You may remember last time that I gave an update about this stitch, I was kind of upset because there's a hole in my cloth. The hole is still there. I haven't fixed it, but I have gotten a little bit more done. I have this full snowman done in the center, and I have started a little snowman up here along with some of the words. I am just going to address this when I get to it, and thank you so much for all the suggestions that you've made. I honestly think I'm going to try the stitch witchery thing, just because I think that might work really well, just to put a little bit of fusible behind there and hold those threads in place, especially if it's behind a part of the stitch where it's going to be covered. If it is kind of like out in the open where I can see it, then I'm definitely going to take the suggestion of learning how to re-thread the Aida cloth and get some threads going through there just to close up that little hole. So again, thank you so much for all of your advice and input on how to resolve that horrible event in my life. I definitely read all those comments and took them under consideration and decided which ones at least I'm going to try and figure out which one will work the best in this situation. So thank you again so much for saving me on that. And then my final bag is my Prairie Schooler Santa. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. Hasn't started. No Santas. So, oh well. But I did, and this video is coming up, not till February, I think, but I did frame 6 of my finishes. I'm going to show you 2 of them today, not all 6. You'll see 3 other ones in the cross stitch finishing video, which will be out, I think it's February 13th, that one's coming out. So stay tuned for that. You'll be able to see the Stitcher signpost, You Are the Boss, and I think the featherweight stitch is in that one. I also have a craft room tour video coming out, and you'll see all of my my frame cross stitch in that, except the two that you're going to be able to see right now. I did not get this framed in time for Christmas, but I do have the Doreen Jones Christmas Stitch Along from 2023 framed and in a finished. And this is actually one of the 3 that is in the cross stitch finishing video. Again, that's coming out February 13th. But this is one of my fully finished. Now, it wasn't in time for Christmas, but it's going to be ready for next Christmas. The other finish that I'm going to share is my cute little sloth. Oh my God, I love how this turned out. So this is actually a 12 by 12 scrapbook frame that I got, I think it was K & Company, that used to have a warehouse in Kansas City, and I had the pleasure of touring their warehouse. Oof, it's been years. Probably 20 years ago, maybe. I don't even know if they're in business anymore. They were huge in the scrapbooking community at that point, and they had these cute frames in their warehouse, and we were able to purchase things out of their warehouse that day. So this is one of the things that I purchased. So I've had them for a long time. It actually had one of my grandma's quilt blocks in it, and I was looking for something so I could get this finished and on the wall for Christmas. This was actually in my house for Christmas. So I was like, oh, that'd be perfect. So I just grabbed it and I just put him right there in the center on some sticky board. And then this is also just the Christmas fabric behind there is just laying in there. It's not mounted on anything. It was just cut to fit the cardboard backer that's in the back of the frame. So yeah, this was my other finish that I wanted to share. I know both of them are Christmas related, and here we are heading to Valentine's Day, but it's all good. It's all good. I love my little sloth. I really am tempted to keep him up all year long because, well, I mean, it's a sloth, and he's still going to be home till Christmas. Christmas is coming again. 11 months, but you know, whatever. Before I leave the cross stitch area, I want to share that I went to a cross stitch shop in Branson, Missouri, and it's called Cecilias Samplers. Here's her card. If you're in the Branson area, I highly recommend you stopping by Cecilias Samplers. It is such a cute shop, and she is super fun, super personable, and very friendly, very helpful. I had a great time chatting with her and just browsing through all of the amazing patterns in her store. And of course, I had to pick up a few things. So I've been wanting to try a few different needles out, and she happened to have all the ones I want to try. So I picked up some of the Colored Eye Pony. Also picked up some Colonial needles in size 26. And then I also picked up a package of the 26 Tapestry Peacemakers needles. And these are push. I don't really know. I don't know what that means, but I don't know. I got them. I have all kinds of needles to try now, and I'm super excited about that. So that came from Cecilia's. And then I was super happy about this because I did not have to order these from Fat Quarter Shop and pay $5 to get this little bitty thing. I was able to pick this up in her shop for the same price without shipping. So this was amazing. And she told me that, you know, if you're in the area or if you have her information, if you just have like one little thing one little pattern that you want to purchase, just to give her a call, let her know, and she'd be more than happy to just throw it in a little envelope and just charge you a stamp or whatever, like actual shipping, not the flat $5 or whatever that most of the websites with online stores try to charge you. So again, super happy that I found her. I stopped in and had a great chat with her. So, and also excited to get these. In addition to that, finally got my 2024 Santa. Now I bought this on like what? I don't know, December 20th. But got my 2024 Santa. Not that I've had any Santa work done, but that will be going into my Santa bag. And she gave me, just with the purchase, gave me a free little pattern, this cute little tree, Rejoice Tree. And this is a design by October House. So that was a freebie just because I came in her store. I also got this by October House, which I had never heard of October House before, but this is their Honey Fair pattern. I just saw this stitch and I was like, oh, I love that. I love bees and I love like just this style. So had to have this little pattern. So I got that, and it was not expensive. It was $10. So that's not that bad. And then keeping with my beef theme, I also got a pattern by Shepherd's Bush. And this one, they do have this shown on one of the bags from Fat Quarter Shop. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stitch this probably on some Lugana along with this little thing. I mean, won't those be cute together? I feel like those are going to be adorable together, like just in a little, you know, a little thing. So yeah, those two things. Yeah, so that was my trip to Cecilias Samplers. Cecilia, if you ever see this, I want you to know I had such an amazing experience. Thank you so much for just being an amazing human being. And I hope to visit you again soon. If nothing else, I will definitely be ordering some stuff from you because she had a huge collection of hand-dyed cloth, lots of Lugana, and lots of, just lots of pretties. Lots and lots of pretties. Okay, so that is all of my cross-stitch stuff. Let me clear some stuff and get set up for quilting talk. All right, quilting. Right now on the channel, you may have been noticing that I've been working on the Let's Build a Snowman or Let's Make a Snowman quilt by Lori Holt. That series is almost wrapping up. I believe we have 1 or 2 more videos to go. So that will be wrapping up soon, and then what will we ever do with our time, right? So I do have an announcement on that, but let me tell you a little bit how I'm going to attack 2025, basically, okay? So first and foremost, I have a baby quilt to make, and I know I've showed this in the past, but I have made a decision. I will be doing a sew-along for the small, the 34 by 34 small quilt, because I'm going to be making that for a baby quilt for my great nephew to be. He's coming in April, maybe late March, somewhere in there. So I've got to get busy on that. I will be getting my fabric together and working on that project soon. If you caught the alphabet tiles video, which I think many of you have, because oh my gosh, I can't even believe how many views I've had on that video. You will see why those alphabet tiles are going to be coming in handy, especially with the Elizabeth Hartman patterns. So if you haven't made your alphabet tiles, I seriously encourage you to make some or make yourself some post-it notes or something if you plan on tackling an Elizabeth Hartman quilt. So just know this sew along will be coming soon, probably in February or March. Those videos will be releasing. In addition to the Elizabeth Hartman quilt, we're also going to be starting the Mercantile Quilt Seeds. And those videos, I believe, let me see here real quick. Those start on the 28th of January, and there will be 7 videos, maybe 8 in that series, 1 for each of the 6 big blocks, and then 1 for assembly, and then maybe 1 for finishing. We'll see where we're at with it after we get the top together. So be watching for that if you have any of the Mercantile Quilt Seeds. And yes, I know you have to purchase 6 patterns, but you know what? Just as I told you with my cross-stitch patterns, I will buy the cross-stitch pattern for this one little chart, and that's all it is just this postcard, right? So crafting is not cheap. Quilting is not cheap. And I do understand your point of, you know, why are these patterns so much? Why do I have to buy all 6 of them individually? Blah, 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 blah. I get all of that, and I hear you, and believe me, I share some of your comments, but it's just the world we live in, and nowhere has it ever been said that quilting is cheap. It's just not. It never has been, and it probably never will be. So that's just, you know, I hope you get something from the videos, even if you don't make those blocks, and I hope that you enjoy the videos, even if you're not making the quilt, just to pick up some tips and tricks and maybe just some of my witty charm. All right. Another thing that I am going to be doing, and I've started the process, see the post-it note? The Prairie Home Book. Okay, there are a ton of quilts in there. And first I thought, you know, I'm going to go through there and I'm going to pick a couple quilts and make them. And then I thought, you know what? I want to be more creative than that. So I've decided I'm going to make a Prairie Home spring sampler. So what I've done is I went through all of the spring section in the book, and I've decided which ones I want to make, and I've written down all the measurements of the blocks. And I will be using some graph paper and kind of charting it out and figuring it out. And then we're going to be making 1 of each of those blocks and then putting them together in a sampler quilt. I do not know when that's going to happen. It's definitely going to be after the baby quilt. It's definitely going to be after Mercantile, and it may be after the next thing I mentioned too. Just know that it will be coming sometime in 2025. So if you have the Prairie Home book and you are like me and you can't make a decision on what to make, maybe you'll join me in making a spring quilt sampler. All right. The other thing that I'm planning on doing, insert picture here, the Lori Holt flower basket, which is the Peace and Plenty fabric line. I am not buying a kit. I did purchase the Sew Simple shapes. I will be making the quilt, but I'm going to be changing it because I don't like all the pinwheels. Okay, there. I said it. It had to be said. You want my honest answers? That's where it's at. I don't like all the pinwheels. I don't want to make all the pinwheels. I want nothing to do with the pinwheels, okay? So I'm going to take the quilt, I'm going to make all the applique blocks, and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do, right? It may end up being just the applique blocks. It may end up being applique blocks and a few piece blocks. It may be who knows what, but I know I'm not making all those pinwheels. Just not doing it. I have fabric from the Hometown line that I'm going to be using. I have yardage for all of that. So that's what I'm going to be using for my fabric. I definitely need to get my background fabric. I'm probably going to order that, or I'm going to visit my local quilt shop and get some from them. I do have the kind of the number in mind of how many yards I'm going to need for that. It's not going to be as scrappy as this, and I'm just going to kind of wing it as I go along. So stay tuned for that. If you want to go on that fun adventure with me, be sure to tune in when I start doing the Peace and Plenty flower basket sampler. It's going to be Laura's way. All right, so my 2025 plans. Let's talk about that for a second. Because in the past 2 or 3 years, every month I've written down, these are my goals. Boom, 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 boom. And then I check them off. Check, 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 check. This year I've decided that my goal is to create what I want to create. So I'm not going to plan out my months, really. I'm definitely not planning out my year. I have a few quilts in mind that I want to make, but I'm not going to say I'm going to make them and nothing else, because I want to be able to have some flexibility, and I want to be able to chase the squirrels when I feel like it. And what I mean by that is, when something new strikes my fancy and I want to do it, I want to be able just to do it and not feel like, oh, well, if I do this, then I won't get this done. I don't want that this year. I just want to be able to chase the squirrels and say, that's cute, I want to make that, and make it. So you're not going to hear me give you any 2025 goals. I have no goals for cross stitch except to finish the 3 things I showed you today. I have no goals for quilting except to, at some point in time, start the quilts that I shared with you today. Except for that baby quilt. That's got to be done. That's kind of a deadline because the baby's going to be here, needs the quilt, right? At least by the time that they're 5, right? Anyway, it will be done before they're born. Hopefully. Yeah. So that's the only goals I have for 2025 with cross stitch and quilting, because another reason I changed my channel name was because I want to bring in all the crafts that I do. I want to be able to share with you all the different interests and loves that I have in my life. And with that, I'm going to share one of my first very dirty secrets. People ask me all the time if I have UFOs. And I tell them, no, I don't have UFOs. But then, in the closet, I found this little project tote. And I found these blocks. I have a lot of these blocks. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. I have 7 of these blocks. And I thought, oh, I do have a UFO. Back in the day, probably 5 years ago, we had an amazing presenter come to our guild, the Scrappy Farmer. I believe she's from Kansas. I will put a link in the description box below. And she shared with us some of the lesser known embroidery and needlepoint stitches. And I fell in love with it because I love her style of how you use a quilting template and you mark on the fabric and then you stitch it. And I was like, that's amazing. I love that. I want to do that. And I had this grand idea to make a quilt, and I don't even remember what the quilt was supposed to look like at this point. And I started making the blocks, and then I was like, I don't like embroidery. And I know you're sitting there going, but Laura, you cross stitch all the time. Look at these cross stitch pieces behind you. You do needlepoint all the time. I do. But I don't do embroidery. I don't know why this is so much harder than that. In fact, it's not. Like, making X's is way more monotonous than this, but I don't know. I cannot stick with embroidery, but that is the only 2025 goal. I'm going to start bringing embroidery back into my world because I want to finish this set of blocks and I want to do something with them. I'm going to make a quilt or project bags or something with them. So I have dug them out of the closet and I've put them in a much smaller bag and I've put them beside my chair at night and I'm making myself do a couple little scallops on them every evening before I start my cross stitch. 2 reasons. The way you do this, you put an interfacing on the back of it and it's really hard to punch through. I think I might just need a sharper needle, to be quite honest. But it's hard on my fingers, so I can't do too much of it, which is probably one of the reasons I keep putting it down. And that way I'll eventually get them done, right? If I just do a few little scallops every night and then eventually they'll get done and then I'll do something with them. But that's my dirty little secret. I do have a UFO. It's such a UFO that apparently it's flown my mind too. So that's one new little crafty thing that you may be seeing on the channel. Second little crafty thing you may be seeing on the channel is something like this. This is a can koozie. Cute can koozie, right? This is a Cricut craft, and I will definitely be doing a video on these and showing you how to do those, telling you how to get all the supplies, all that kind of good stuff. Again, another reason why I broadened the scope of what my channel will cover is because I want to bring in some Cricut crafts into our world. So that's another thing we're going to be doing. Let's see, anything else? Oh, with the Cricut as well, I have a couple other fun little projects I'm hoping to incorporate. I have some cute little decorative blocks that I can show you how to make, and I also have some tips and tricks on making some cards quick and easy with Design Space for the Cricut. So if you have a Cricut and it's still sitting in the box, get that puppy out. If you have a Cricut that's out of the box, dust it off a little bit because we're going to be doing some stuff with it this year. I promise you. I don't know how in depth we're going to get. I don't know how often those videos are going to come. It's going to be when the mood strikes me. So just know that that is definitely a topic that may be coming up and coming your way. All right. So I think that is all of the crafty stuff that I'm going to share with you. The rest of the stuff are things that I love because I don't know about you, but when I'm crafting or I'm in my space, I need to be entertained sometimes. And I have a lot of different YouTube channels that I watch. I have a lot of different sites that I go to. And I have a couple groups that I super love. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to share all of those things with you as well. And again, I'm going to put all of this stuff in the description box down below, so don't feel like you have to get a pen and paper and write all this down. But I ran across a new all recipes girl on YouTube. Her first name is Nicole. I have no idea what her last name is. I don't even know if it's shared. But Nicole is amazing. If you have recipes that you want to see someone demonstrate with some humor and wit and charm and real life, then you definitely need to check out Nicole. And again, description box down below. I have used her videos so far to do beef tenderloin. I know how to cut up a beef tenderloin now. It is amazing. I've also used her videos for some easy appetizers, and she has some coffee creamer videos that look super, super fun and tasty. So make sure you check out Nicole on all recipes. My favorite crafter has got to be Patti J Good. She has got to be one of the most personable, funny, lovely people I've seen on YouTube in a very long time. I love all of her videos. She's always upbeat. She's very practical. She's not going to break the bank, and she's going to give you some really cute craft projects that you can whip up in pretty low amount of time. So check out Patti J Good if you haven't got her on your subscribe list already. If I need some humor, I definitely go to Dry Bar Comedy. Love their comedians, and the whole deal with that club is that they keep it pretty family friendly, so you don't have to worry about your kids walking in and hearing things they shouldn't, right? I mean, some of the topics might be a little adult, but the language is not going to be anything that the kiddos need to not hear. So if you're looking for some clean, funny humor, check out Dry Bar Comedy. If you want to learn all about gardening or just be entertained, oh my gosh, the Veggie Boys are where it's at. I love the Veggie Boys. they have taught me so many things, and they've explained so many things about gardening and just life in general that I'm just like, wow, how did I not know that? I didn't know I could grow a tomato in a hanging basket, but I did, and it worked, and that's amazing. So check out the Veggie Boys. They have a ton of followers at this point, but it is actually a family farm, and they have a produce market and all kinds of stuff in their area. It's amazing, but they're amazing. And his little girl has the same name as my stepdaughter. So, I mean, come on. You know it's going to be good. All right. Quilter. I would totally tell you to check out Brenda with Conquering Mount Scrapmore. She is amazing. She actually just did a presentation for our guild. If you are part of a guild, make sure you check her out because she does free Zoom presentations for your guild, and she's awesome. And she has great practical advice. She's all about scrappy quilting, and she's all about giving back to your community and doing donation and charity quilts. So Brenda with Conquering Mount Scrapmore is awesome. She has tons of free patterns, lots of free videos. She has an open sewing room through Zoom, I believe, that you can join in at any time. Great, great, great. My other favorite quilter is Donna with Jordan Fabrics. I love Donna. Her nails are on point all the time, but she is so fun and doesn't make anything too complicated to where a beginner or an advanced quilter feels like this isn't the right video for them, right? She is awesome. So make sure you check out Donna with Jordan Fabrics if you haven't already got her on your subscription list. All right, so a few of the things that I'm totally into that you may be seeing coming up in some videos here. First, some vintage jewelry because I love my vintage chokers so much. And in fact, I have 2 videos coming up because I might have messed a couple of them up. And so I show you how to fix them, how to clean them, and give you all kinds of information about where to find them and all that kind of good stuff. So be watching for those at the end of this month, I believe. I think it's January 30th. The first one comes out for the vintage chokers. Something else I'm totally into that I will be probably incorporating at some point in time is vintage hand-beaded purses. I actually collect Walborg purses. It's W-A-L-B-O-R-G. They're all hand-beaded, and they're like from the 1950s, I believe. I have quite the collection at this point. But now I'm like, I should branch out a little bit and start collecting some that may not be in the best of shape because I can show you how to fix them. So we're going to be doing some of that at some point this year too. The last thing I want to share, and this is the one that is closest to my heart, and I should have started the whole video with them, but whatever. I've known these girls since they were tiny. I've known one of these girls before she was old enough to be a Girl Scout. These girls, their mama and I were Girl Scout leaders at the same time. Their mama is amazing. She is gorgeous inside and out, and she is the most supportive, driven, wonderful human being I have ever met in my life. I cannot believe the amount of time, energy, and dedication that she has given to her daughters. They pursue a career in music. So please, if you get nothing else from this video, please check out the description box, check out the Burney Sisters. They are awesome. They are Columbia, Missouri hometown girls, and they have recently moved closer to Nashville because their career is taking off. And I really want them to be known so much more. And I was talking with their mama, and I was like, listen, if I could do anything for these girls, I would, and I would love to be able to promote them on one of my videos so we could reach just a different audience than they have been targeting with their videos. They have a YouTube channel. They do post videos out there of them singing with just themselves and with other artists. They have a Facebook page. They have a TikTok account. They have Instagram. They have all the things because they are all that and more. So please, please, please check out the Burney Sisters. They are amazing. They are amazing humans. They're amazing artists. And, well, I mean, come on. Their mom was just awesome, too. And obviously a good friend. So, yeah, those are all the things I love. Some of the things that are coming up. So let me give you a quick rundown again on just some upcoming videos so you can kind of make a mental note on those. We will be wrapping up the Snowman, Let's Make a Snowman quilt along next week on January 16th. And then I'll be doing a craft room tour on January 23rd. I have one more video for the Berry Jam quilt, which you guys have really been giving me some good feedback on it. I may actually do one more video on that because it came to my attention through a comment that I did skip a step really between those two videos on how I was assembling those sections together. So I will probably put out another video on that berry jam quilt just to kind of give you a better idea of how that all comes together. But I do encourage you to purchase the pattern because that's really where you get all the information. So make sure you purchase the pattern from Tia Curtis and start making some berry jam quilts. So then Mercantile will be starting the Mercantile Quilt Seeds blocks. Those videos will be starting on January 28th. And then, as I said, I do have a video on some vintage chokers on the 30th coming out. So if you didn't know before, now you know that I definitely record my videos in advance, and I try to get them scheduled out at least, 3 or 4 weeks in advance. So if you ever see me in short sleeves and it's 20 degrees out, you know that, oh, that video was recorded a month or so ago. So now you know my secret. Yeah. So that's what is all going on in the Handmade Haven, and that is the happenings. I'm sure there's going to be more to come. I'm sure there's going to be lots more to share with you, and as those things come up, I will tell you. I probably will be doing some more shorts. I may even do a live at some point. I'm not sure. Maybe when we reach 10,000, I'll do a live. But yeah, oh, and speaking of that, when we reach 10,000, be waiting because I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to do a giveaway, or I'm going to do some kind of a special announcement, or maybe that's when I'll do my live or something. But something will be happening because we're only like 500 away from 10,000 subscribers. So if you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. Share my channel out with all of your friends and your quilt guilds. I would love to expand our community. Make sure you're aware to leave me comments on any and all videos that you see. I do try to respond to those within 24 to 48 hours. With all that being said, I hope until next time you find joy in all you do. Carve out some time for crafting and creating. And remember, it's always better to make stuff up.